Hello, what's good? I'm your boy, Exegetist. I'm from the group HOC, House of Commons, representing. Big up to my boy, shout out to Catalyst and to some other members in the group that have just joined up. I just want to talk very quickly about this whole UK riots, thuggery and looting that's been going on. Today is Wednesday, the 10th of August, 2011, and over the last few days we've had a lot of rioting, looting, a lot of fires been set. Croydon is one of the places, Ealing, we've had looting in Clapham, places in London, and also Manchester, Birmingham, and so on. So, yeah, it's been a bit crazy still, and everybody's, well, not everybody, a lot of people have been, running around frantic. What's going to happen next? There's a lot of scares going on. There's still scares that it's going to continue this week later on. I've been hearing all sorts. There's been a lot of rumours and so on. I just want to talk very quickly on some things. In one of my video blogs, I spoke about, or the actual topic was, did God create evil? And you have to watch it because I don't want to go through it again. But what I said in there was very clear, that we've got to remember that when we remove good, we are left with evil. And evil is a condition. Now, that doesn't sit right with some people. They want to give evil, they want to put it under like an entity or some sort of power. It's actually the removal of good. Now, even deeper still, we've got to remember that God himself is love. And love is an act that we have had to have seen somewhere else for us to know what it is. God is the first person that has showed us what love is, okay? And that's how we now know what it is, okay? So, love, God, you remove that, you're left with evil. You do it your way, and you don't want to do it God's way. You're left with evil. So check that video blog. Did God create evil? Because I spoke about it there. Okay. Yeah. So evil. We are seeing evil. These behaviors are behaviors of evil. It's manifesting. It's been in the heart, and it's now coming out in action. And evil, I'd say, is selfish. It's selfish behavior. I've just made some notes here, so I'm glancing over. It's destructive. We've been seeing destruction in the country of the UK, of England, lately. We've been seeing destructive behavior, we've been seeing selfish. It's all about us. Even though people have been doing it in a group, and people have been going out together and doing it, but it's still personal selfishness and acts of one's own selfish behavior. And holding grudges is another form of evil. I was talking about this with my wife earlier today, that when you hold a grudge, it's almost as if everything good goes out of the window. When you're holding a grudge towards somebody, you can't see anything good about that person. All you can see is the bad things. It kind of blinkers you. And that's what it is. When you hold a grudge, and there's obviously grudges here. People are having grudges against authority, against the government, against the police. I know that's not all that has been going on. There's been other acts of just pure boredom, and just people just wanting to be destructive and just want to do things because other people are doing it. So it's not all to do with grudges, but that's what tends to happen also when you've got a grudge. You hate things, you don't see anything good. And I'm just saying also here, we've got to be careful. There's also been a sense of false power. People that have been looting, that have been going out and doing these things, feel that they're powerful. They feel like they're doing something. Like the police aren't doing nothing about this. Look at us. We can go into a shop, we can smash it open, and we can take stuff. You know what I mean? We're powerful. And I want to say this is a full sense of power. Being untouchable. I can't be touched. No one can do nothing to me. The police can't even do nothing. The government can't do nothing. Look, we're lawless here. Watch what we're doing. It's like, it's a full sense of power. Bringing fear and feeling that you're bringing fear to people. You think it's powerful, but it's false. And I was saying to somebody even today, we think we're running things by doing what we're doing. We ain't running nothing. There's no power in it. We're not even affecting the people at the top. The people, the real players at the top, they're not being affected by this. We're affecting ourselves, or the people we like to call the working class. We are affecting ourselves, man. And this is causing a problem to us more than the people at the top, okay? So we're not even thinking about what we're doing. It's a full sense of power here. Right? And it's kind of crazy still, because I remember just even a few weeks ago, I was saying to one of my friends that I said to them, imagine, yeah, if people just started going crazy and started doing things on the streets and started just doing what they wanted to do. There's just pure lawlessness, and people just took matters into their own hands. Imagine if everybody started doing it. How will we even be able to control such a situation? How will the police, there wouldn't be enough. I was just saying this to somebody even a few weeks ago, okay? And the reason why it probably came to my head is because I'm aware that we are operating, or not all of us, but many of us are operating in evil. There's no God in this. There's no Christ here. There's no love here. So all we can do is evil. That's the heart itself has a sin. We have a sin nature, and I've said this before on my Facebook statuses, and people have had issues with it. We have a sin nature. It always wants to do something bad. It always wants to do something sinful. But thank God, when you've got Christ in your life, you can take control over that. Now that is where I'm getting to. Power. What's real power? Now I've got a definition here. Power in physics is the rate at which work is performed or energy is converted. Okay, power in the philosophical sense is a measurement of an entity or the ability to control its environment. Sounds a bit better. But I want to tell you what real power is, people. If you want real power, I'm going to tell you what it is right here. And I've just put it here in a note form. Power here is having the Holy Spirit in you. Holy Spirit comes from Jesus Christ himself, from God. It comes from him, okay? It's having the Holy Spirit in you, which bears the fruits of the Spirit, which are love. I can never remember them at the top of my head. Love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That is real power, people. The power you think you've got when you think you can smash up the place and thief, because that's what you're doing. You're stealing, okay? You're stealing, and that's actually a commandment. Thou shalt not steal. We shouldn't be stealing. There's no power in what we're doing here, okay? It's foolishness and it's stupid. Real power is having the Holy Spirit in you, and the Holy Spirit, when it's in you, changes your character. And when you can control yourself, you can control the words that come out of your mouth. Bad words that are going to come out, you can control it. When you can control somebody in your face giving you abuse or saying something nasty to you, or somebody cutting you up in the road, you know what I mean? When you can control those things, yeah, and you say, no, you know, I'm going to walk away from this and have peace. I mentioned peace as one of the fruits of the Spirit. That is power. When you can lay in your bed and all these things are going on and you think, do you know what? God's got me. I'm safe. I'm protected. That's power. Somebody said to me yesterday, oh, Jay, how do you feel being on the streets right now with all this stuff going on? I said, you know what? I feel protected. I feel covered. I feel safe. And then they kind of laughed and they sort of said, why? Because you're exegetist, you know. I said, well, it's not even about that. But I didn't even go into it. I just left it. Do you know what? When Christ is with you, when you've got him in your life, and even through the trials and even through the problems that you go through, you've got a peace. That, I'm telling you, people, is power. Now, I'm not saying that power is walking into a dangerous situation deliberately to see if God's got your back. You can't jump off a building and say, God, are you going to save me? And expect, you know what I mean? Let's just not be silly here. But I'm talking about power where you got control over certain things and you can have an influence in evil. And I'll even put another note here. Power, to me, is when you can have an influence over evil. When your good has an influence over evil. That, to me, is power, people. That's what we really need to have, some real power, not this false sense of power. Anyway, I'm done on this video blog. But people, I want to just quickly say, do not be fearful, okay? And also, be aware that these things are going to happen. I'm not going to lie to you, yeah? And this might sound wrong, but I was not surprised about these events. I wasn't surprised. Nothing shocked me. And to be really honest with you, I remember someone said to me today, imagine if this country really went to war and bombs were dropping down on us. We would be, how will we even handle it? Okay, I'm not trying to say these events are justifiable and that they were nothing because they were bad, okay, and they were evil. But let us remember that things are going to get worse. You know, we're living in the last days, as the Bible tells us, and there will be wars and rumors of war. And we've not really experienced nothing really that, I don't even want to say. But listen, people, do not fear, okay? Just put your trust in the Lord, okay? And like I said, power. Get that Holy Spirit. Get to know who Jesus Christ is in your life, man. And get to know his power, which can be in you, all right? That's all I'm saying. I'm Exegetist again. Big up to everybody. Stay strong. Stay in there. And just persevere. Yeah, that's my video blogs. Get your mind open. You know how we do. Yeah.